Hello, everybody. Brett Mix, Macho Wrestling 101 here for another Monday Night War review. This is week 108. I do these and I archive these reviews, so whenever you want to go back and rewatch the wars, they're there in my files. This is another review in under 10 minutes. As always, like all of the reviews, we'll go over everything that happened. This is week 108, as I said, that they've gone at each other. Raw scored a 3.0 this week, and they go up against Nitro, who scored a 3.8. So WCW wins for the 70th week in a row at this point. Nitro won by a 0.8 advantage in the Nielsen ratings. Again, 3.8 to 3.0. So wrestling was pretty hot this week. Both companies getting above a 3-0 is good. So now after this week's loss for Raw, the total scoreboard has Raw at 17 wins. That's it, 108 weeks. 17 wins, 89 losses, and 2 draws through this time that they've gone at it. The show went live Monday night on the USA Network, December the 1st, 1997. It took place from Roanoke Civic Center in Roanoke, Virginia, USA. This is the go-home show to In Your House to Generation X. We opened the show with clips from last week where the LOD were cheated out of the titles by the Outlaws. They said that the LOD are still here wanting the gold. The Pyros go off. JR welcomes us to Raw. He's with Cornette to open the show. The Outlaws come out to talk on the mic. The dog, Jesse James, says this Sunday the Outlaws will defend their titles against the LOD. He doesn't call himself the Outlaws just yet, but he just says me and B.A. Billy Gunn. Gunn grabs the mic and says, let's not get too cocky, but tonight they have a non-title match against the Headbangers. Then the LOD without makeup or attire come in and dominate the Outlaws until they got away. Decent opening segment for a go-home show building to the rivalries to the tag title match that will happen in Your House DX this Sunday. Speaking of In Your House DX this Sunday, that will be the finals. They'll hold the finals for the light heavyweight tournament. So this is the semifinals as we kick off the action in the ring on this Raw. It's Taka Michinoku versus Aguila in a semifinal light heavyweight title tournament match. Sonny came out to introduce both men. Aguila with a somersault senton but lands on his legs when Taka moves. Taka had some life-flying offense to Aguila. A baseball slide was missed, and then a corkscrew moonsault to Michinoku to the floor. Aguila gets caught into a power slam. Taka off the top with a high corkscrew, but Aguila wasn't there. Aguila went for Hurricane Rana, and Taka hit a powerbomb and then a power slam, followed by the Michinoku driver. Taka wins at 6:19 to advance to the finals of the tournament. Taka will face the winner of Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor match, also known as Too Cool, before they were Too Cool, in the semifinals later on tonight. The match was good here for sure. I gave it 2.5 stars for Aguila Taka in their semifinal match in the tournament. They show Goldust walking out of his marriage, walking out of his partner on Survivor Series. Then they show Goldust with a blunt object. They'll be it next week. And then last week they show a clip of him spraying alcohol in his eye and then hot coffee in the other one. Luna said on the mic that the bitch is back, as Luna was the one that threw the alcohol. She has Goldust by the collar this week. Goldust is gagged with a ball on all fours. He's got metal nipples. This is something more appropriate for the War Zone, the second hour, but they kicked the material off somewhat edgy here in the beginning hour. Luna calls him the artist formerly known as Goldust. That name would stick. Pain and pleasure go together, and Goldust from his knees drops the ball from his mouth as the two make out. Pretty risky pushing on the edge television in the early Attitude Era. Chains with 8-ball and skull takes on D'Lo with Farouk, Kama, and Rock versus Miguel Perez with Jesus Castillo, Jose Estrada, and Savio Vega versus Recon with Sniper, the Interrogator, and the Jackal in a 4-way elimination match. The key is to eliminate one person as only a tag can be made to anybody in the ring, but only 2 people can go at it at once. Crowd all over the Rock with Rocky sucks chance even though he's not in the match. Chains pins Recon. D'Lo comes in to battle. Perez holds a pinfall to D'Lo. Chains ends with a Death Valley driver to Perez, who ends up DQ'd. So again, Chains ends up winning at 3:40 by DQ as all the stables come in and start brawling with each other. And we do that with all the factions around ringside. I give the match a star. DX comes to the top of the Titantron, and HBK says he played Brett for a sucker, as he had a sucker in his hand. Triple H talks about how dumb Neidhart was, and then he talks about the slaughter. HBK then talks about Shamrock as they run down the pay-per-view opponents in this one promo. Hour 2 pyros go off. It's JR and the King on commentary this hour. Rocky Maivia with the Nation takes on Vader. Austin then drives his pickup truck into the arena and holds up a 6-pack. Fans are going nuts for Austin coming in. Austin is still watching the match from on top of his truck, drowning beer. This was about as decent as a match it could be with their styles and all the interruptions of Stone Cold. Goldust came down and attacked Vader by the Nation, then by Luna by Goldust. Vader chases off Goldust, and Luna has left the match. Rock wins by countout, therefore, at 5:10. Austin wants The Rock calling for Austin. Those two will meet for the IC title at In Your House DX. I gave the match a star and a quarter for The Rock and Vader, which ended up again with the countout victory for The Rock. Brian Christopher versus Scott Taylor for the WWF Light Heavyweight Semifinal Tournament match. The match didn't take place due to a non-appearance by Scott Taylor, so we don't get our two pre-cool one-on-one here, but Kane came out and took out Taylor. Through Hellfire and Brimstone, Kane wants his brother, says Ross. So no rating in that match, and Brian Christopher advances to the finals to take on Taka Michinoku this Sunday In Your House DX. The War Zone is on already, and Ahmed comes out to face Jeff Jarrett in his re-debut. Ahmed calls Jay a chicken shit after he doesn't want to come down. Slaughter comes out and says, "You don't have to wrestle tonight, Jarrett," as Judge Double J smiles again. "But you do have to wrestle this Sunday night on pay-per-view, or he'll suspend him, and that man he's going to face is none other than The Undertaker." And that's an order, as Jeff Jarrett rightfully looks concerned. He doesn't look too thrilled. They then show a video package of Slaughter with his Cobra clutch in the past, preparing him for Triple H's boot camp match at In Your House DX. Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg, Jesse James, take on the Headbangers in a non-title tag team match. Road Dogg on the mic says, "Oh, you didn't know? You better page somebody." So he's getting close enough to what his usual shtick was on the mic. Is still finding their groove, were the Outlaws, who are still not called the Outlaws yet, but I'm calling them that just for my own benefit in the reviews. Road Dogg, Jesse James with an arm wringer and a side headlock to Mosh. Road Dogg is cornered. Thrasher comes in. Thrasher with some offense to the Outlaws. Gunn wearing a Survivor Series shirt for whatever reason, considering it was a few weeks back. Not sure why he's wearing that. Hawk and Animal come back, and this time they have the paint on their face. This time they're without the chest spikes, but they do have the face paint on. Gunn and Road Dogg win by DQ at 2:55 as the Headbangers are DQ'd after the interference from the Outlaws. Gunn and Road Dogg, Jesse James drive off as the LOD and the Headbangers are stuck in the ring, wondering where they went. I gave that tag match 3/4 of a star, and the Outlaws for the second straight week have hightailed it and drove out of the arena. Cornette welcomes Marvelous Mark Merrow and Sable, who gets a lot of chants. Cornette says Sable is the star of the show. This doesn't please Merrow, who says he is the star. He says, "Sable, you were nothing when you came here," as the fans boo. Merrow says, "Sable, you use the WWF wearing other star shirts like Austin 316. Merrow says to the camera, "Austin, you owe me some money for this." Merrow then sent Sable to the back out of frustration, proving how much of a jerk Merrow was, and the sort of like Macho Man and Liz Elizabeth back in the day. Main event was Triple H with China versus Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Rhino they're calling him this much. Neidhart using a running lariat, a power slam, a lot of moves. HBK came on the apron and Triple H used the chair on Neidhart. It was a short match. Triple H wins the match at 2:29 by cheating to win as DX comes out as they stomp away on Neidhart. After the match, Triple H pedigreed Neidhart on a steel chair. He gave it a half a star. After the match, HBK then spray painted the back of the Anvil, WCW. The Anvil ran at DX with a double clothesline until China got involved. To end the show, they had China with DX as they handcuffed Neidhart. They handcuffed Neidhart to the ropes. They embarrassed Jim the Anvil Neidhart for a second straight week. Slaughter comes out, gets beat by DX. Slaughter gets the Cobra Clutch on Triple H. Shamrock runs out and puts HBK in the ankle lock as they highlight both those top matches for In Your House DX. Quality rating rise, I gave the show a 6 out of 10. They built to the pay-per-view pretty well. Good promos and stories. The Aguila Michinoku match was great. Austin coming in his truck drinking beer during the Rocks match was something new, something innovative. So a 6 out of 10 serves this episode right. Only Raw will get better going into 1998. So we got a lot of good stuff to look forward to. Hit like and subscribe if you love these reviews or if you're just enjoying them. I love putting them out. I'm Brett Mix, and we'll see you next time. I'm out.